Hello and welcome to this special Auto Vista Group video. I'm Daily Brief journalist Tom Geggus.
I'm Daily Brief editor Phil Curry.
And I'm senior data journalist Neil King.
Now, over the course of the last year, motor shows have been postponed, digitised and cancelled. But as Auto Shanghai opened its doors, lucky journalists and car enthusiasts alike got a chance to see new models up close and in person. Now, obviously, we're not coming to you from China, unfortunately. But we are going to give you a run-through of some of our favourite unveilings from the event. Phil, what's grabbed your attention?
Yes, thanks, Tom. And I'll start with the Genesis electrified G80. Now, as the name suggests, the Genesis electrified G80 is an electric vehicle, and it's the first battery electric vehicle from the premium brand of Hyundai Motor Company. Now, the electrified G80 is scheduled to launch in Europe and represents the company's first pure battery electric vehicle on a sedan platform. It has an estimated range of more than 500 kilometers or 310 miles, depending on how you measure your distance, and delivers what the company says is a powerful performance with 272 kilowatts of power and 700 newton meters of torque. Now, that power is divided equally between front and rear motors, so there's quite a lot of drive on this vehicle. And the electrified G80 also features a 400-volt, 800-volt multi-rapid charging system, which allows customers to use various different charging infrastructures. And as the electric vehicle market grows, this is something that we're going to be talking about a bit more, which is what type of infrastructure does your vehicle use? Very much kind of VHS Betamax, perhaps, for some of those who remember that challenge where VHS ultimately won out. The electrified G80 also features some of the latest technologies that we can expect to see on other battery electric vehicles, emphasizing sustainability. And at the moment, sustainability in the automotive industry is crucial. It has a solar roof integrated into the roof line, and this can generate electricity using sunlight with solar panel that increases energy efficiency. The vehicle also features various natural recycled materials in its interior, including leather that utilizes natural dye in the seats, console and rear seat armrests. In addition, an eco-friendly forged wood garnish for electric vehicles is made from recycled pieces of wood from the furniture process of the vehicle's production itself. So it really is a very sustainable car, but also a premium luxury sedan. And as I mentioned, Genesis brand will launch later this year. So this is one that I'm really keen to keep an eye on and see just what the market looks like for it.
Yeah, that sounds like one to really watch, Phil. And one that's definitely come to my attention this year was Toyota have unveiled the BZ4X, which is a mid-sized SUV concept BEV or battery electric vehicle. And it's actually going to be the flag bearer for the new Beyond Zero or BZ electric naming convention, hence the BZ4X. Now, Toyota developed the BZ4X in partnership with Subaru, so it sits on top of the ETNGA BEV platform, which is an awful lot of letters. And it takes advantage of the electric expertise of Toyota and the all-wheel drive know-how of Subaru, so you have a bit of best of both worlds in there. And the BZ4X is the world's first mass production model fitted with a steering yoke and a steer-by-wire system. So this means greater control, removing interference from rough road surfaces and braking. So you've got a more precise response line in line with the vehicle's speed and steering angle. It also means that you don't have your traditionally shaped steering wheel anymore. It's really just where you need to hold your hands. And of course that means the driver doesn't have to move their hands around the wheel as they make a turn. Alongside this you have a regenerative energy system, and the vehicle also uses a solar recharging system which recharges the battery when it's stationary. Now in terms of production, the BZ4X is going to be built in Japan and China, with worldwide sales slated for around mid-2022. And Toyota is planning to introduce 15 BEVs, including 7 models within the BZ range, by 2025. Then Toyota hopes to expand its total number of electrified models to around 70 by 2025.
I'll jump in and, I selected BMW's new iX fully electric SUV. So it chose Auto Shanghai for the world premiere of the, let's call it the full series production version of the iX. It's the first SUV built by BMW as a dedicated battery electric vehicle, or BEV, on BMW's new modular scalable platform. It also features electric all-wheel drive. As BMW puts it themselves, the new technology flagship embodies the company's innovative talents in the areas of design, electric mobility, driving pleasure, sustainability, as you mentioned earlier, Phil, and luxury and connectivity. It is also the first BMW model to feature their new operating system 8 generation and the latest generation of the infamous BMW iDrive. Just a final point, really, question really, as to, well, why did they launch it in China? Obviously, there's a timing issue here, whereby Shanghai is the most appropriate platform for the model at the moment. But more to the point, BMW highlighted that the operating system 8, I'll call it OS 8, provides the basis for seamless integration of additional digital services. And in China, for example, this really enhances the possibilities for the market-specific apps in the country. The model was pretty much ready to launch in China over the course of 2021. A couple of versions will be available. Slightly more impressive figures than you mentioned earlier, Phil. The iX xDrive 50 will have a 500 horsepower equivalent motor and 600 kilometers range, and the xDrive 40 has about 300 horsepower and a range of about 400 kilometers.
Yeah, just linking on from the BMW. So there's been a lot of talk recently, I noticed, about the BMW grille. They even put a press release out about the kidney grille, and the one kind of links into what I'm going to talk about next, because I've been looking at the MG Cyberstar, which MG released with a big photograph of the front end saying, what do you think of our new concept? And the grille really stood out for me. It's very wide, very smiley, shall we say, which I think is a great design that car makers really are going down the route of now. But it's also an electric vehicle, car makers can do more with the front end of their cars, because of course EVs and battery electric vehicles don't need radiators, which is giving design a whole new scope. So the MG Cyberstar is a convertible, and its shape is a nod to the classic MG Roadsters. Now, MG say that the Cyberstar, with its electric powertrain, will give an approximate range of 800 kilometers or 500 miles and deliver a 0 to 100 kilometer per hour time of less than 3 seconds. The car features classic round headlights, and what the company also says are interactive Magic Eye headlights open when switched on. Other striking details of the car are the laser belt LED strip down the side and the outline of the door, which follows the direction of the LED strip as well. Inside, the digital fiber design adopts a driver-centric layout with separated cockpit for driver and passenger. There's a large LED instrument cluster and a second central screen which houses interactive features. MG's zero-gravity seats also have floating head restraints, while the door panels and red leather handles reflect the laser belt that runs down the car's exterior. Now, another interesting feature for me on this car was the announcement of 5G connectivity. Now, for many, that might seem as something that you could simply just be able to run your phone off, for example. But 5G is also going to be crucial when it comes to not just connected car features, but also autonomous driving features. So for MG to state that the car is 5G connected means that they are thinking about a fully autonomous future with this thing, if it ever should, of course, make it to market. But whatever, I really did like the design style. And for MG in Europe, a company that began its life in the UK, its new life, should we say, in the UK, following its purchase by SAIC all those years ago, the company is now expanding across the European continent, and the MG Cyberstar really represents a bold outlook of what it's thinking about for its future.
Yeah, it's interesting you should mention SAIC there, Phil, because Audi actually went to Auto Shanghai this year with its Chinese partners, which are, as we might know, FAW and SAIC. And it actually had 4 world premieres there. And this included the new Audi A6 Etron concept, an updated Q5L, the A7L, and an SUV study. And it's, all kept beneath the covers. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, the A6 Etron concept really grabbed my attention, I've got to say. Now, it's the forerunner of a new family of full electric production cars, and it sits on top of the new technology architecture called Premium Platform Electric, or PPE for short. Now, depending on the drive system model version, the A6 Etron is expected to have a range of over 700 kilometers on the WLTP scale. The most powerful members of the family will go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in less than 4 seconds, and the PPE is going to enable 800 volt charging. Now, this will allow it to be charged with up to 270 kilowatts in a short time at a fast charging station. So a 10-minute charge will equal 300 kilometers, and in under 25 minutes, the Audi A6 Etron Concept's 100 kilowatt-hour battery can go from 5% to 80%, which is really rather rapid. Now, in terms of style, it's worth mentioning from the off, this is a concept car, the Audi A6 Etron. So think of it as a design forecast where Audi wants to project its electric luxury look. Now, this thing is covered in projectors. I think it's just worth noting. There are ones in the doors to welcome you as you approach, and they can also warn cyclists. There are ones for turning signals, as well as ones in the front grille, which can project video games. In terms of release date, we're thinking in late 2022, you're going to see the first cars in the C and also later the B segment getting launched with PP technology. So already we're getting an idea of where Audi is aiming.
Yeah, interesting, Tom. I was just going to say, I suspect the ability to project a video game in front, maybe that's what really drew your attention to this model in one way. But I'll just move along to sort of Audi's stablemate, as in the Volkswagen brand. Now, they've chosen to launch a couple of new members of the ID family at Shanghai, the ID6X and the ID6 Cross. Now, these are both SUVs, as one would suspect, but the Cross is essentially let's call it a coupe variant of the ID6X SUV. So I'll just refer to this as the ID6 from now on, just to keep it simple. They were only launched online a couple of days before they had their sort of physical world premiere in Shanghai. As I say, the latest members of Volkswagen's pure electric ID family, at least in China. One thing that sort of jumped out at me, though, is as alongside these new electric models, the brand's still expanding its range of ICE cars. Also, China just unveiled the brand new Talagon. This is a large-sized all-rounder SUV, as well as new Terramont and Terramont X SUV models, and also the GTI version of the latest, obviously, 8th generation Golf. Now, the ID6 is being made exclusively for China. It will be the brand's flagship SUV for the ID family. It's got a powerful aerodynamic modern exterior, matched with illuminated front and rear logos. There you go, more illumination going on. And it's got two battery options and a range. And again, these ranges are phenomenal. I mean, we're sat here discussing, this has a range of 500 kilometres, 600 kilometres. The ID6 in this case has a range of 580 kilometres. And again, these figures were unheard of, literally just a few short years ago. As far as the model's concerned, as I say, it's now in China, but no sign of them coming to Europe. That just made me question if maybe there's a larger ID SUV in the pipeline specifically for Europe, given that at this stage there are no plans to roll out the ID6 over here.
Well, one brand that is looking to expand globally with no huge announcement, but we expect it probably will be coming to Europe, is ZIKA, ZEEKR. It's a very trendy way of missing the E when you put on the end of things these days. Now, this is a new premium brand launched by Geely, the owners of Volvo, LEVC, and many others. Now, the company launched its first car, named the 001, just before the Shanghai show, and debuted the model at the event. It is, according to the company, the world's first electric shooting brake produced for the mass market. And I've got to say, having a look at it, I really like it. I love the design of it. It's very stylish. It's very modern, very sleek, and it looks very powerful and performance related. Part of the reason for that is because it was actually designed in Sweden at Geely Design Gothenburg, which I believe is also responsible for Volvo design. Again, amongst others. So there's definitely a European flavour on this vehicle. The 001 will be offered with either an 86 kilowatt hour or a 100 kilowatt hour battery, delivering up to, and again, Neil, you talked about the phenomenal ranges. ZIKA says that the 001 can achieve 700 kilometres of range in a high performance package. Top speed is 200 kilometres an hour and a 0 to 100 kilometre time of 3.8 seconds. The car also features automatic air suspension that can increase ground clearance from 117 millimetres to 205 millimetres, depending on the conditions that the driver is facing. Now, I know you mentioned, Tom, about projectors in the doors of the Audi, but the ZIKA 001 actually takes it a little bit further. The frameless automatic doors detect a passenger approaching and they close the door upon entry. So there's no need to even to pull it shut. That simple action that we take for granted is now eliminated with this vehicle. On the software and technology front, the 001 will automatically detect approaching users via facial recognition technology and adjust the car based on their personal preferences. So as you're walking up to it, it will automatically adjust the seat, adjust the ride height, adjust the brightness of the console, so on and so forth. And this is something that we could see on other vehicles going forward as facial recognition technology really does grow in its awareness and in its use. ZIKA also say that the 001 will benefit from a full lifetime of over-the-air updates, with these coming at least once per quarter to keep car ownership highly competitive. ZIKA is basing its models on Geely's Sustainable Experience Architecture, or SEA platform, and will include its own battery technologies and motors, amongst other things. The car is launching in China in October this year, with global expansion into key markets, and we hope Europe, during 2022.
It sounds like a really exciting electric model, another one to add to the increasing portfolio that's coming to Europe. But I think it's also worth addressing maybe a vehicle that doesn't have a straight-up fully electric platform that it's sitting on, and that would be Citroen's C5X, its new flagship, which has actually been seen for the first time at Auto Shanghai. Now, it's a cross between a saloon and a station wagon, and was dubbed by Vincent Kobe, the Citroën CEO, as a large touring vehicle, and it's going to land very squarely in the D segment. Now, unlike, as I said, some of the other show standouts, it does not offer a fully electric version. Instead, it comes with either a petrol or a plug-in hybrid drivetrain. Now, looking at the ride, which is obviously one of Citroen's chief concerns, Citroën says that its advanced comfort active suspension system enhances the impression of travelling on a magic carpet, so you get that Aladdin experience. Now, on the plug-in hybrid versions, things are stepped up another notch, and the system enhances the effectiveness of the progressive hydraulic cushions. It does this by relaxing the suspension even more during driving phases, offering greater efficiency, particularly in the corners. Now, in terms of tech, the C5X features an extensive head-up display, as well as a new infotainment interface. This sports a central 12-inch HD touchscreen, natural voice recognition, and a customisable display with widgets. And the C5X also offers a range of driving assistance features, including Highway Drive Assist, and this is Citroen's semi-autonomous Level 2 system. It combines adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go and lane-keeping assist technology. Now, when can we expect this on the market? Well, it's expected to hit in the second half of 2021.
Interesting, Tom. So essentially, I can look forward to widgets in the second half of 2021. That's that especially appeals. But moving on to Daimler and the Mercedes-Benz brand, Mercedes is celebrated the world premiere of its new all-electric EQB compact model, but also chose to show a long wheelbase version of a new C-Class in Shanghai and the new four-door CLS coupe. Just a quick note on that. China has a tendency to favour long wheelbase versions of existing models. We've seen this with the likes of the 5 Series, now with the new C-Class, and it's no real difference really with the EQB, which they have also shown as a long wheelbase variant. Just separate to that, they also showed the EQS, so frenetic sort of electrification activity, at Mercedes and also in Shanghai. Now, obviously, the EQS is a luxury saloon. This essentially is the first model in the Mercedes EQ family to be based on a modular architecture for luxury and executive class electric vehicles, and obviously will serve as an all-electric version of the new Mercedes S-Class, which people may have seen. Obviously, we have also covered recently in a launch report. So, but just going back to the EQB itself, the new model will be launched in China. At the moment, timing is looking at sort of November 2021. That's as a fully equipped top model with 7 seats and the AMG line trim. But as far as Europe's concerned, European customers will have a choice between 5 and 7 seats, and obviously all-wheel drive, different output levels. Production for Europe and North America, is scheduled to commence later this year at the Kecskemét facility in Hungary. But just as an additional point on that, Hubertus Troska, he's the member of board of management of Daimler AG or Daimler AG. He's responsible for Greater China, and he said himself that in addition to our right products, our local production footprint is one of the decisive factors for sustainable growth in China. That's why we are looking forward to produce the all-electric EQB in Beijing. So looks like they're heading for local sourcing as well, and again all tying in with that close to market and sustainability future.
Yeah, it sounds like Auto Shanghai has had an awful lot of interesting models come out, and it's been a pleasure covering them with you both. So thank you so much for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Lovely to see you both. Hopefully we'll catch up in person soon, maybe even in Shanghai.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it will be in Shanghai. But I did also want to thank you, the person watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please do give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We also have a podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Amazon Music, so go ahead and give it a listen. And last but not least, sign up to the Auto Vista Group Daily Brief email at autovistagroup.com/sign up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.